Welcome once again to A.O.S Abroad. Thank you very, very much for joining today. Really do appreciate. I don't take it for granted. I appreciate that every one of you are actually coming on live to join our live sessions, and I hope our live sessions are very educative for every one of you, and you are able to learn one or two things about Canada immigration through it. So, that being said, I'm not going to waste your time today. We have a very interesting topic we're going to talk about today, and this is a topic that I feel that every single person that wants to come to Canada needs to be aware of. You need to know what is happening in the political landscape of Canada immigration so that you are going to align yourself to the next goals and the plans of the new government, the new Canadian legislation, the new Canadian executives, or how will I call it, the new Canadian leaders. Do you understand? It's very important you know what exactly those leaders, the elected leaders of Canada, are actually saying about immigration. Because whether we like it or not, anything the leader of a country or anything the prime minister, particularly of Canada, wants in terms of immigration, he has the full power to actually do it now. So you need to know what are some of those things, what are some of those issues that the Canadian government, especially the one led by the Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister, the newly elected Prime Minister, Mark Carney, what he wants about immigration. And in order to know what Mark Carney wants about immigration, today's topic is centered on Mark Carney reinforces what immigration priorities in the new mandate letter to ministers. So how it is being done, how politics is being done in Canada right now, is that once a new leader has been elected, we are going to see some changes of cabinet. We're also going to see some changes or some realignment, basically, of the goals and the plans they have for that particular for that particular era, for that particular tenure. So today we want to actually learn from the article I saw on CIC News website, which is the Canadian Immigration and Citizenship website, where they talked extensively. Ashesh Mosapeta, one of the seasoned authors or seasoned writers on the blog, where he talked about, you understand, the mandate letter that was sent from Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, to his newly elected as well, or his newly appointed immigration minister, Lena Matlek Diab. So let's move on. The article was written yesterday, 23rd of May 2025, and it is centered, as I said, on the mandate letter. What is a mandate letter? Some of you may ask. What do you need to know about the mandate letter? How does it affect immigration? How does it rewrite the history of immigration? We're going to talk about it now. Firstly, let's, for those that are joining on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, you see that we are actually joining and sharing live an article, the article that was actually talked about. And the link, you can just go on cicnews.com website and you can see it is one of the new articles they actually wrote. Now, they said in a recent mandate letter to his cabinet, I told you, Mark Carney, being the new Prime Minister of Canada, he has selected his group of ministers, and under his group of ministers he selected as well the Minister of Immigration, he appointed the new Minister of Immigration, as some people will call her online, mommy mommy Lena. Before we had auntie, I think, shout out to what they call this woman now, I've forgotten her name now. She's a YouTuber. She always give them some Nigerian titles, like the first one that was there and the other one that came, but this one is Momilina, as said by Acid Darling. Yes, that reminds me, Acid Darling. So shout out to Acid Darling on YouTube. She talks a lot about immigration as well, and she's a very good person we do actually follow. Now, she said in a recent mandate letter to his cabinet, Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, he reiterated his broad goals for Canada's immigration system. Now, the Prime Minister has started working. Mark Carney has started working ever since he got elected, you understand, officially. And now he has actually sent a letter out to outline the main two immigration goals he's going to be pursuing in this tenure of his. And we believe that this immigration goes for those that really understand what is. See, please, you have to understand something. Don't walk against the tide. Do you understand? Rather, align your own goals in line with what Canada is actually needing. That is only how you can actually get invited. That is only how you can get the opportunity to be selected for immigration and to finally land in Canada. I remember when I was working, because I would always talk about myself as a case study, and even all other clients that we have worked with. Many of our clients, we tell them, don't just be fixated on, oh, my friend went through this. This is what I want to go through. Or oh, I've heard that this is the easy way out. This is the one I want to go through. It may be the easy way out, but at that particular time, Canada may not be giving those people that want the easy way out. You understand? Visas. So you have to know in line with what the immigration minister wants and the prime minister wants, what exactly are they looking for right now? What exactly are they doing on immigration? Because once you know their own goals, their own targets, then you will be able to align yourself in line with what they want, and at the end of the day, get the visa you so desire. So they said the Canada's mandate letter outlined two main immigration goals. Just two main immigration goals. What are the immigration goals? One, it outlined what we know as the what we know the what do you call it now? It outlined that number one, there's going to be a returning overall immigration to sustainable levels. So Canada has said, or the Prime Minister has said that one of the goals of his tenure, one of the goals of his own administration is that he's going to take back the immigration levels to sustainable measures. So majorly what he's trying to say is that they are not just going to be inviting people anyhow. They will not just be giving people visas anyhow. You understand? Rather, they are going to be aligning the immigrants they are bringing in to the housing availability, to the infrastructure that is in Canada, to you understand the social benefits that are available for people. So it is going to be much more regulated, basically. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is that, or the number two goal is that they will be attracting the best talent from around the world to help build Canada's economy. Now, this is very important. Sometimes people always think anybody can come to Canada. Some people be asking me, what's the easiest way to come into Canada? And we always tell people there are no easy way out. You understand? To come into Canada. There are possible way out. Yes, there are possible way out for you to come into Canada. But the Canada of today is not just easy for everybody. Everybody cannot just come into Canada anyhow again. Do you understand? So you have to be the best of the best before you have the opportunity to get selected. Now, how can you be the best of the best? That's what we are going to learn from the mandate letter of immigration. So understand it that these are the two goals. The two goals is they would go back to the sustainable levels of immigration, number one, and number two, they would attract the best talent. So if you are not part of the best, if you don't have the skills that makes you the best, if you don't have what it takes for you to be considered as the best, then you can't come to Canada. Period. That is just it. Now, they said these two goals, they were presented as a single directive and were one of the top 7 priorities for Canada's cabinet moving forward. Now, this mandate letter, some people always ask, what is even mandate letter? Why are we worried about mandate letter? What do we need to know about mandate letters? We're going to talk about them in brief. Let me charge up first. Now, let's move on. Now, mandate letters, they are special directives given to members of the cabinet from the prime minister, which typically outline the major goals, the milestones, and sometimes even methods that the prime minister would like his cabinet to conform to in keeping and achieving their governmental mandate. Many of you may not really understand all those jargons, even though they may not be jargons, but what they are trying to say in brief is that when it comes to mandate letters, when it comes to Canada immigration, The prime minister would give his appointed ministers some orders. He will give them some actions to go through. He will give them some commands, basically. He will give them what he states as what he states as rules and regulations. Sometimes we give them even timings that, okay, you must achieve this set goal at this particular time, you must do this at this particular sometimes. And he can even give them methods, procedures to actually follow whilst they are doing that or taking that or achieving that goal. Now, they said in the past, Canadian prime ministers have offered or have often delivered individual mandate letters to each minister. Sometimes the prime ministers that are elected into power in Canada would say, okay, this is a mandate letter for the Minister of Immigration, this is a mandate letter for the Minister of Housing, this is a mandate letter. You understand? Each one mandate letter for every minister. But it is unclear right now that this time whether Mark Carney will follow this pattern. It is unclear if he would actually give one letter per person or he's just going to give a particular letter to all ministers at the same time. But regardless of the way that he gives the mandate letter, we have to know the reason for the mandate letter. What is the reason for the mandate letter? The reason for the mandate letter right now in Mark Carney's administration is, number one, to return overall immigration rates to sustainable levels. Now, what does that mean? Let's break that down. That's the first goal that he wants to achieve. What does that really mean for the average immigrant that wants to come into Canada, or the average immigrant that is already in Canada? Now, in Mark Carney's mandate letter, Carney reiterated the need to bring overall immigration levels to sustainable levels. Now, for those that know immigration levels, many times Canada will give some plans and they would give some foreseeable future. That, okay, like the plan that is available right now is the plan of 2025 to 2027, where Canada is stating that, oh, it's going to invite certain amount of people, like hundreds of thousands of immigrants for this year, 2025. For next year, 2026, also is going to invite some amount of hundreds of thousands of people, like that and like that. So if you look at the immigration levels plan of this year, they even added temporary residents. Before, they were just focused on permanent residents. Now they added temporary residents, they added, you understand, visitors, international students, temporary foreign workers, you understand, and actually limited those that were actually coming into Canada. So now they are telling us that previously on the campaign trail of Mark Carney, the Liberals under Mark Carney ran on a platform of stabilizing permanent resident immigration levels. Now look at that. They were focused on stabilizing immigration levels for permanent residents, acknowledging that the previous Liberal administration had allowed immigration levels to rise to an unsustainable rate. And that was a change which in turn had placed strain on Canada's housing and public services. Now, you have to understand something. Sometimes I do tell people, when it comes to immigration, you are not the owner of the country, especially when you are an immigrant. You are not the one that would dictate to Canada what Canada will do. Do you understand? You have to understand that is like someone that is a beggar. Imagine someone staying on the junction asking for hams. You now stretch your hand to give that person $2 or maybe 2 cents, and that person say, no, that was not my money, give me $10. Is it the beggar that actually what that you understand? Sometimes you may look at that example as, you understand, absurd, but it's true. Is it the beggar that actually helped you to make the money that you are giving willingly? It's not that the person did a service for you, rendered a service to you, that you now know that, okay, this service that this person rendered, this is how much the service, this is how much that service is worth, or this is how much that person says he wants for that service. No, you understand, when you are coming into a new country, you have to understand that, like that analogy states, you are like a beggar. Sorry to be blunt, but you are like a beggar asking to come into the country. So instead of you bragging on what, yes, you have skills that of course Canada will still use, you have skills that will still make you indispensable, you have skills that will still make you valuable to the economy, I understand that. But you also have to understand that you are the one asking for visa. They did not call you. They did not call you and say, okay, Olagbaja Omotamedu, come to Canada. We are waiting for you. We need you. They did not beg you and say, okay, please, come and collect your visa. They did not beg you. It's you that applied. That's why during your application, they will not say, okay, is he is it a province that said you should come, or is it someone that called you for Canada? No. Even the person that calls you to sponsor you to come into Canada, maybe through family sponsorship or through visitor visa, through invitation, that person is a single person, an individual living in Canada. The person is not working with Canadian government that will not say, okay, it's the Canada government that is now inviting you. No, there's not. It's not like Canada, because some people always think it's like US that they will be saying they will do lottery, that they will invite you. It's not. Canada does not have any lottery system that will say, okay, they are inviting you. Even the lottery that is that is seemingly looking like lottery for grandparents and parents program, it's not really a lottery that will say they will invite you, that Canada immigration will invite you to come. It is individuals, your child that is in Canada, that will invite you, and Canada will now put you in a kind of lottery system to now select who they would actually work with. And that one safe, nothing is certain. So why am I saying this? What I'm saying this is, you have to understand the reason why the government is doing things. And you have to understand that, okay, if this is the reason why, how can I now be seen as someone that falls in that line of what Canada wants? Do you understand? Now, Canada is saying that they cannot just be inviting anybody anyhow. They cannot just be giving people visas anyhow. They will give people visas according to the housing availability, according to the public services that they have available. Because let's be frank, if you are coming into Canada as an immigrant and you don't have a place to stay, at the end of the day, you die in you. You will buy, sorry to be blunt, because even the weather is not favorable for you to sleep outside. It's not favorable. So if they don't have housing, accommodation to house you, do you understand? If they don't have, of course, you pay for it. It's not free. It's not that it's Canada that will pay for your rent. But if all those things are not available to make sure that you have a better life, because why are people coming to Canada at the first place? For greener pasture now, for better life, Abi? And that's why they even say, there was one article I saw again where I read that they said, are Canadians actually leaving Canada to seek greener pastures abroad? And the emphatic reply to that was no, because the statistics shows that a lot of Canadians are happy where they are. They're happy in their country. You understand? Because of course they have shelter, they have access to public services, they have a lot of benefits they are enjoying from the government. You understand? And by virtue of the country they have. So you can now come and now suffer yourself and you now say it's come. So basically the government are trying to be much more responsible in line with the public services and the housing and the immigration they are working towards. So to address this issue of unsustainable levels, the Liberal government of Mark Carney previously proposed to stabilize what permanent residents admissions at less than 1% of Canada's population annually beyond 2027. Now, I've talked about this in one of my articles on Relocation 360 by A.O.S, where I was giving some statistics. And I said, for many of you, if you know the Canada population, the population of Canada right now, you will know that even the 1% that they are saying that they will bring in as permanent residents is a lot. The 1%, because we have about roughly 40 to 42 million people in Canada right now, and they are bringing in 300,000 plus people yearly as permanent residents. That is a lot of people. You understand? So with Canada's population projected to be 41.5 million in 2025, the previously planned targets, as outlined in Canada's 2025 to 2027 immigration levels plan, published in October of 2024, already fall below the 1% threshold. What does that mean? That means it's not like 415,000 people they will be bringing. They will be bringing less than that yearly. Do you understand? They will be bringing less than that. And as the plan stated, they said according to the plan for 2025 to 2027, the government admits or aims to admit 395,000 permanent residents in 2025, 380,000 permanent residents in 2026, and 365,000 permanent residents in 2027. Now, what does that mean? That means there are a lot of people they will bring in. Even with the way they are saying they are going to bring it to sustainable levels, for those that are wise amongst us, for those that have what it takes, for those that are the best of the best, you can still get selected out of this 395,000 for this year 2025. It's still a lot of numbers. It's a lot of numbers for those who are serious to come into Canada this year or next year. Because this year is already going. Yes, we are in May, and before you know, June, we are already in the middle of the year. It's already going. So the faster you get started on your immigration, the faster you get serious on your immigration. Many clients will always tell me, oh, I'm interested. Many leads that we have from our advert placement will say, I'm interested. We will not take you serious because there's the difference between wishes and wants. There's a difference between wants and strong desires. If you say you are interested, oh, you are still in the wish level, we'll still not take you serious. If you get to the want, you start getting information, you understand, finding out things that, okay, for instance, we have our webinar videos that we have put on our website. Some people have not even watched it to learn how they can become permanent residents. That's the way we sieve those that are unserious but interested with those that are interested and serious. It's two levels. The first level is for you to be interested, the wish level. The second level is for you to take action. You understand? And action are in two levels. The first action you take is the action of seeking knowledge. Knowledge of, oh, okay, permanent resident. I want to come into Canada as a permanent resident. What do I need to do to become a permanent resident? That one requires knowledge. And when you are seeking knowledge, we'll tell you, go on our website, watch the webinar videos, learn about what we can do for you, learn about what you yourself can do for yourself. You understand? Understand what the immigration process is about. Because sometimes people will spend monies, they will give someone money to do things, but at the end of the day, they don't even know what that person is doing. At the end of the day, they will say that person scammed them. No, it is you that scam yourself. It is you that scam yourself. Because you don't know what that person is doing for you. How can you now judge objectively if that person is doing what you want that person to do or not? Because you are not informed about the immigration process. So the first action for us to take that person serious is for that person to seek knowledge, understanding what immigration is about. Once you have done that step, will not take you as someone that has gone beyond wish level to want level. If after you now actually get that knowledge, you now want to go through the strong desire level. You understand? The desire level is the level that you don't just get the knowledge, but you now take the action to actually start the process. That is where you actually make payments. You get started on, you understand, working on your credentials, working on your documentations. It is at that level we now say, okay, yes, you are ready to talk to us. You are ready to, you understand, get access to us privately, directly. Because if people don't go through those stages, we have found out at the end of the day, people just become nuisances at the end of the day during the immigration process. Those are the people that will say, you are a fraud, you are a scam, because they don't even understand what immigration is about. They see some people going through Agadez, through Niger, through Mediterranean Sea, you understand, going to Europe. You understand, one day they are in Nigeria, another day they are in Europe, or they are in Lebanon, they are in Libya, they are in, you understand, they are in Morocco. They not think maybe Canada is like that. That once I just pay, once I just pay one money, then tomorrow this person takes me to Canada. Tomorrow I just see myself. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. So if someone is not serious enough, we too will not take that person serious. And that is what Mark Carney too is saying right now. That those that are serious enough are the people that they are willing to bring into Canada. The second goal of Mark Carney's new mandate letter that he sent to the immigration minister is to attract the best talent from around the world. What does that mean, to attract the best talent? That means they will not just bring in riffraffs. They will not just bring in people that will be another problem to Canada instead of being benefits to Canada. So in addition to the above, Canada's mandate letter also mentioned another theme that was previously touched on during the federal election, gearing the immigration system to attract what? Top global talent. When they say they are trying to attract top global talent, then of course those people will have some skills that the other majority will not have. They will have some credentials that the other majority do not have. They will have some documentations that the other majority will not have. They will have some skills and biodata that makes them exceptional to other people. Right? Now, the Liberal Party's election platform included plans to update the Global Skills Strategy, GSSS, to bring key professional talent to help build and support critical sectors of Canada's economy. Now, what's the GSS? The Global Skills Strategy. Or it is a federal work permit program that supports eligible Canadian companies by facilitating the hiring of skilled foreign workers. Now, under this program, the foreign nationals can get expedited work permit processing, typically within 2 weeks. You can get your work permit within 2 weeks if, of course, you are qualified for that program. And the proposed changes included in the Liberal election platform contained new initiatives aimed at helping high growth Canadian businesses and entrepreneurs bring in talent. So the platform also highlights a focus on attracting highly skilled professionals from the United States. And additionally, the party also committed to working with provinces and territories to improve and accelerate the recognition of foreign credentials and international work experience. It's OMG. Thank you very much for liking our live on TikTok. So this would also allow foreign skilled workers to move quickly and efficiently and effectively to integrate into the Canadian labor market. Now, what does this really mean? Let's put a context to these changes. What they mean is that the changes that they advocated, the changes that Mark Carney advocated in his mandate letter, it has roots in the immigration policy instituted by the previous immigration minister, Mark Miller, at the tail end of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's tenure. And under the Mark Miller, the previous immigration minister, and in response to growing concerns about affordability and housing, the Canada's Liberal government adjusted their immigration policy to scale back on both temporary resident and permanent resident admissions. So what that means is that now they are not just picking anybody anyhow. They are picking the best of the best. They are picking people and they are reducing those that they don't need. You understand? Because this includes measures such as, number one, setting targets to reduce the number of new study and work permit holders entering Canada each year. So they are not just bringing, if you are not a student that really wants to come to study, they will not bring you into Canada. If you are not a worker that just wants to work for 1 or 2 years, they will not bring you into Canada. Reducing permanent resident immigration levels to approximately what they were before the pandemic. So, after the pandemic, they brought in a lot of people, thousands of people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. But now they are reducing it to pre-pandemic levels in order to cater for the changing dynamics of the housing crisis. Another one is temporarily halting new low-wage labor market impact assessment, LMIA applications in metro areas with unemployment rate of 6% or higher. So what they mean is that now they are not just giving anybody LMIA. It is not as easy as it was before. Do you understand? So now it is the best of the best they are giving LMIA. They are also imposing a cap on new study permit applications. Before that, colleges can just give admission anyhow. Visa officers can just issue study permits to a lot of people. Now, if the cap that they have set for a particular school or a particular province have been met, they are not going to give study permits again, no matter if you apply with the best of documents. Do you understand? They are also making major changes to the occupational classifications used in express entry, like the NOC codes, which we have seen, the NOC 2021 that they are making use of. And they are adding language and program of study criteria for eligibility to receive a post-graduation work permit, PGWP. So before that anybody can receive a postgraduate work permit, now you have to be in demand jobs, like in healthcare, in STEM occupations, in trades occupations, before you can get LMIA, or before you can get postgraduate work permit. Creating new permanent residency streams and study permit exceptions for skilled workers in trades and constructions occupations. Now look at that. They are prioritizing those that are in trades, like plumbers, like engineers, like mechanics, and those that are in construction, like laborers, like workers in construction, like supervisors in construction. They are prioritizing them for permanent residency streams and study permit exceptions. They are also restricting eligibility of open work permits for family members. So before that, you say, okay, let me just come into Canada as a student. And yes, my husband can come into Canada and get open work permits. You understand? And okay, it is not as easy as it was before again. And lastly, they are now eliminating arranged employment points in the cumulative comprehensive ranking system for express entry candidates. So before that, once you get an LMIA job, you can get 50 points or additional 200 points. You understand? Now, under the express entry, that opportunity is no more available. So these are all the changes that are coming up, and all the changes that have even started. It's not that just coming up, they have started working towards and implementing many of those changes right now in the immigration sphere of Canada. Now, you may ask me, with all what we have said, how can I benefit from immigration? How can I still move into Canada if I so desire? There are three things you can do, or three ways you can go about moving to Canada, regardless of the mandate letter. And what are these three things? Number one is to actually come into Canada as a student in in-demand occupations, or study in-demand or in-demand programs, like programs in healthcare, programs, even STEM occupations. Now, there are some STEM occupations that are not in demand again. Do you understand? But STEM is still part of it. Trades occupation, plumber, you understand, mechanics, carpenters, cabinet makers. If you have or you want to join, you understand, colleges, you want to take programs, master's programs, master programs, PhD programs. That is what will actually allow you to get postgraduate work permit, and even your spouse to be able to come into Canada with you. Now, that's the number one way I talked about. You can use this. The second way you can use this is to actually get a job in Canada, to apply for pilot programs, like the new pilot program, rural, you understand, immigration community pilot program, francophone immigration community pilot program. Those programs are still available for those who qualify for it. And lastly, for you to work on your permanent residence, and that's where we come in. We can assist you together with our immigration partners to actually get your permanent residency. You understand? Firstly, you need to learn about what permanent residency is about. That's why we always tell people, go on our website, aos.name.ng. You understand? To learn about immigration, to learn about what you need to know about immigration, and to actually be much more informed that, okay, this is what immigration is all about. This is how you can get invited, and then you understand, you can now work with us and actually get started with your immigration. So thank you very much, everyone. We have come to the end of this live session. If you have any questions, drop it on the comment section before we go. If you have any clarifications, even after this, also drop it on the comment section, and we'll do justice to responding to you. And don't forget, every week, at least once a week, we come on live to talk about trending topics. Today we have talked about this topic. Tomorrow we'll also come with another trending topic. And do make sure to follow, to subscribe, to like, and to also comment on this. And don't forget to hit the notification bar to get notified anytime we come on live or we drop a content like this. So if you have any questions, put it on the comment section and we'd like to respond to it now. If not, then we'd actually call it a day. Don't forget as well to also visit our website, aos.name.ng, to learn about immigration pathways you can use to come into Canada and become permanent residents like us, and have the opportunity to work with our immigration partners, our licensed immigration consultant, our immigration lawyer, and to also work with us at A.O.S abroad for your language related services, for your language related concerns, for career development, and for everything related to travels as regards immigration to Canada. So thank you very, very much. If we don't have any questions, then we are done with the article today. We would take another article perhaps tomorrow, and kindly join then as well. So thank you very much, everyone. Do have a lovely day ahead. Bye for now.